You know, this is perhaps one of the most important debates that I think we can have in this House, certainly from my perspective as the member for Vancouver East. People will know that the downtown east side is what some people say is the ground zero where the overdose crisis began. And I saw people's lives lost. The House Leader's comments about the loss of people that she know, well, in my own community, is an everyday occurrence. And this has happened for years. For years, this has happened. When we fought for the first safe injection site to exist in Vancouver East, we had a demonstration in the community where we planted 1,000 crosses. Each cross had a name marked on it, Mr. Speaker, and that is to remember and to commemorate the lives that have been lost as a result of the overdose. That was in the 1990s. Now, we thought it was bad then, and we moved heaven and earth to bring forth the first supervised injection facility in North America into the downtown east side. And it was not an easy process. We had to work with the federal government, the provincial government, and the municipal government to finally get there. And we established, through collective actions between the federal and provincial and municipal government, we created the Vancouver Agreement, where there was a federal representative, the member from Vancouver Centre, myself as the minister then at the provincial level, and then with the then mayor, Philip Owen. And we came together to do this and to drive this thing through, and eventually, through much hard work and community distrust as well, that we finally got that safe site. And it was the Conservatives, I might add, that actually levied the hate and the fear against the community that actually stopped the supervised injection facility, that attempted to do that, and it took the community to take the government to court and took the Harper government to court and won all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada to get that facility to continue to save lives. Now, we have come a long way since then, but the crisis has not averted itself. We now are in a situation that was way worse than what it was back in the 1990s. We now have the fentanyl crisis, where people are dying so rapidly that it is absolutely breathtaking. In British Columbia, we now have over 1,400 deaths. Mr. Speaker, we're looking at every day, every single day, 4 people die of an overdose. And we are trying to exercise all of our resources to save lives, Mr. Speaker. And in that process, volunteers in our own community came forward, and what did they do? They actually established the OPS, the overdose prevention sites, on their own without resources because they wanted to save lives. And these unsanctioned sites have saved thousands and thousands of lives. Each day they see 500 people come through, but without any funding they continue to do this work. The people working there are so stretched to the limit. Every time they experience an overdose, it takes a toll on them. But there's no recognition from anybody from the government side. There's no federal funding with respect to that. We heard from the member from Nanaimo and others who talked about that this is happening all throughout the communities. OPS can exist in every single community today to save lives. And if we truly want to do that, and let's then put aside partisan politics. All I heard from the government side was to brag about how great they're doing and how many millions of dollars have they put in. But you know what? If we really want to save lives, then let's just park that for a minute and say what can work. OPS work? Let's do that. What we also know worked was the Vancouver Agreement. Let's bring forward an agreement like that in every single community where there are overdose deaths that are happening. Bring all levels of government together and then to sit at that table to resolve those issues in the name of saving lives. Every single life that you save, remember, it is somebody's daughter, it's somebody's son, it's somebody's family member. And remember this, to our Conservative members, I have to say this, Mr. Speaker, dead people don't detox. Unless we understand that and take this issue all the way to what it needs to be done, and that is to recognize that this is completely a healthcare issue and not a criminal justice issue, Mr. Speaker. With that, we can save lives.